So here's the few. So the Department of Energy left this open all day, and the weight of the hood buckled this, so we have to hold it.
That's good.
All right. So basically, this is your engine. This is your fuel cell. Okay. So this is what we call a non-pressurized version.
Anyone want to hold the head?
Anybody? You're holding it with your broken arm.
It's all right.
All right. So basically, you do have an air intake just like you do with any other car. So air comes, there's an air blower here that forces air into this side of the fuel cell. Okay. On the inside of the fuel cell, there's a membrane with some rare earth elements and some other materials. And the hydrogen gas comes in from the hydrogen control department and reacts with the membrane on the inside of the fuel cell. Okay? The product is heat and electric power in terms of watts. Okay? So these bright orange cords are where the power is transmitted to individual electric motors on the front wheels of this car. It's not like a Tesla, which Teslas have DC motors on each wheel, but this just has it on these front two. And that's kind of the simplified version. Now we had a great question about how much does it cost to fuel the car? Okay, so in California right now, the average cost is about $15 a kilogram in order to fuel the car. So if you're putting a full tank, that's $15 a kilogram times 5. Now, there's a company that recently was able to reduce the fuel cost to about $9 a kilogram. And I think it's a little hokey how they did it, but they wanted to be the first one to come under $10 a kilogram. In Japan, the fuel cost is very heavily subsidized, so the government is basically making up for the losses that the gas companies are having to sell the fuel to. So they wanted to make the price of hydrogen the same as petroleum fuels. So that was their government's way of kind of encouraging the industry. Europe does something similar, but here in the US, we have more of the free market way of doing it. So that's essentially what they're working on. As you can see, it doesn't look like a spaceship. You know, it's a cool car. It's very quiet. We could close this, and I'll show you where the tank is.
How fast?
So acceleration is faster than a regular car with a gasoline engine, because gasoline engine, you get torque at a certain RPM of your engine, revolution per minute. This is torque on demand, so you give it acceleration and it goes.
Are you ready to trade your GPI in?
So this is the hydrogen. This is the main hydrogen tank. So imagine a round cylinder here. So there's this tank, and then there's a smaller tank under the tushies here of the people sitting in the back seat. Yeah, and that's the fueling port here looks a little different than a normal tank. So in a normal gasoline, you put the nozzle inside the vehicle. This nozzle actually clamps on the outside of the fueling port in order to do the fueling. So if anybody wanted to come to BDC, we're always happy to show a fueling and how it gets done.
Does that all hold up well in a rear end collision then?
It does. So Hyundai has done a lot in all of their presentations on hydrogen fueling. They show getting hit by a many-ton tractor trailer at 80 miles an hour, and that is not what fails. I mean, it fails along the crumple zone. This is a carbon fiber wrapped aluminum tank. Okay, so it's wrapped many times in carbon fiber aluminum. So that is not the thing that will fail.
Yeah.
If you think of
the rest of the car fail and it kind of pushes the tank then, or what?
the tank drops
Drops
down.
Okay.
The hydrogen's very light and it dissipates in the atmosphere. They say like 45 miles an hour. So this would dissipate in 30 seconds if it was full and got hit, and if you ever had a hydrogen leakage. But it doesn't feel like that.
Gotcha.
So I could turn it on and it's completely quiet.
Just like you can't hardly hear it.
Mindy.
So it's on, and if I were to go, you wouldn't hear anything except kind of the road noise on the tires. When you put it in reverse, it beeps because one of the problems with electric cars is when you reverse, nobody knows you're there because you can't hear the engine. So that there's been discussion on putting noise in electric cars and these types of things to simulate something because people are not really used to it. Now, somebody asked about, I think you asked about water and where it comes out.
Mindy.
So
I think we can.
there is this.
I can't do it.
So this is the water exit. Okay, so actually, it creates water, and then when it's not freezing, so when the car knows it's not freezing, water kind of stay in the exhaust, and there's some exhaust pipes, and it'll just drip out. But when the temperature is under 32 degrees, when you push the car off, there will be a big whoosh of water vapor for about 5 seconds, and it'll go. So if anybody's standing behind here when you turn it off in the winter, they could get a bath of water flow. But a lot of the water just drips on the floor, but any water vapor that's remaining in the lines just
Does the water come out like clean or is it
You could drink it.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's ultra clear water because the hydrogen quality requirement for the vehicle is, we say 99.9995% pure. So it has no